right now. I'm Tom McKay with 3D Politics, your great host, and I've got all three David tonight. I've got David Van, SoonerPolitics.org, David Oldham, ConstitutionalGrounds.com, and Dave D'Ambroso. Find him at Dave D'Ambroso on Facebook, and you can yell right at me on Twitter at Tom E. McKay. And now, Alien and
So the Alien and Sedition Acts.
By the way, why wouldn't they still be with us? We're just getting warmed up. This is getting good.
We're just rounding out hour 1 of 4, guys.
Okay. My kids are supposed to be in bed. You know.
Alien Sedition.
The Alien and Sedition Acts were acts that were instituted unconstitutionally in the John Adams administration. Okay, so he's our second president.
Fast and loose days, we remember him.
And they violated the Sedition Acts, violated the First Amendment right to free speech, and they were going in and trashing printers, presses, and breaking presses, and just trashing their offices, and going after, actually arresting people who were writing things against the Adams administration. Well, those laws are still on the books, are now being reborn. Obama started rehashing some of these old laws, and all under the guise of the war on terror. And they're being turned against us now, and it's part of what we are seeing some of the fruits of. I'm not going to go into large detail on that tonight, because that's not the point. The point is that they remained on the books, and they got rehashed, even though they have never been lawful. So
isn't sedition kind of like yelling fire at a crowded constitution, though?
It's like, it would be sort of like doing that. But
Tell us a little bit about the laws that came around in the early 20th century, around World War I. Weren't there other sedition sort of acts?
Well, there were, but I'm not prepared to speak about the ones that you're talking about.
I mean, this has just been my only point is that there's been a long history of this. And we like to throw a lot on Barack Obama because, well, he was a champion progressive and did shift things forward. He did move the ball forward a lot for the regressive cause. Right. But, I mean, this has been going on for a long time. People really just woke up with Obama because how dramatically. I mean, if you didn't like the Patriot Act, wait until you saw, the NDAA and Patriot Act under Barack Obama. I mean, he just put them on steroids. Every terrible thing that Bush did to the Constitution, Barack Obama just enriched it 400-fold.
To the bigger umbrella point, they utilize and manipulate us through the use of bad law.
Yes.
And so not only do they leave the Alien and Sedition Acts on there so that it can be revived again like a bad seed, but the same thing they did back to the curfew law. They passed the curfew law, I fought with them, and then 5 years went by, and they never did it. And then when they finally used it, when they first punished, I forget if it was 5, I know you guys will pin me, there were several years went by before they utilized it. And I learned their technique is to pass unconstitutional law, but don't enforce it yet. And the first time they enforce it, it's 5 years, and then somebody squeals and they say, oh, but it's been on the books.
It's precedent now.
Right. After 5 years, and it has not just precedence, but it has momentum of time being on the books.
There is a legal precedent, and all of a sudden the name escapes me. But that you give up your rights when you don't assert them immediately.
Yeah.
And so it's not like anybody could, or the illusion is nobody could.
It's brilliant because there's very little, if any, opportunity to assert your rights.
Well, there's no opportunity because no one has standing. I mean, if you wanted to bring suit, one, you have to have the money to bring suit. Two, you have to have standing before the court, and you're an adult, so you're not affected, so therefore you can't do it. You have to have somebody else.
I gotta get a kid in trouble.
Exactly.
And let me say that. That's one of the weaseliest, just horrible things that our courts in Oklahoma have done. Right up to the Supreme Court of Oklahoma is saying, well, you don't have standing. Right. And that is a problem. I want to go back to Oldham's point. I've got a blog partner in Sooner Politics. It has a blog called It's Still the Law in Oklahoma, where we have old arcane laws.
Yes.
Like it is a misdemeanor to question a woman's chastity.
Yes.
Oklahoma.
And
It's
also
still on the
to
books.
put a hat on a horse.
Yeah. So, but here's what I want to say on that. One of the incoming freshman lawmakers, I ran into the Capitol. I don't want to mention her name. I asked her, said, how many bills do you file this year? She says, you know what? This year I decided I'm not going to file any of my own bills. I'm going to wait and learn this thing. And I said to her, I said, you know,
What a waste of time.
What-
Bernie. Why?
what-
Why know what you're doing?
what I would really like to see somebody do would be to focus writing bills that just repeal old arcane
Yes.
statutes.
Whole
And-
sections.
And I told
Every
her, I
Friday.
said, let me tell you,
Makes law enforcement
said-
safer and
I
more
said,
effective.
I will
Yes.
make, I told this female lawmaker, I said, I will make you a folk hero in Oklahoma as best I can if you'll commit yourself to being that one lawmaker who cleans up all the crap.
David Van's a
that's-
bit artsy. He's going to
Yeah.
paint some murals.
That's
Kind
right.
of graffiti style, perhaps past curfew. We don't know.
It's like a legislative Roomba that just goes around.
Yeah, there you
speaking
go.
of bad law.
I'm reading the chat
Either
that Tom needs a curfew.
Oh,
That's just kind of what I'm
that's
hearing.
probably,
And then
thanks, Blake. Yes.
Chris K says Adam Schiff needs a sedition conviction.
Ah, yeah.
Well, that's very true.
Okay.
Oh, we could use these.
So there's a point. It's not so simple. There's a nuance.
Yeah. But it saddens me to hear that about John Adams. John Adams was an attorney himself.
You're afraid of
He
your.
was circuit right. Yeah, I tried to help the young man.
He got
out, you know.
the Brits
His
off.
kid was a spoiled brat, Quincy we called him. Nice spoiled
You,
kid.
you do realize that he's the lawyer that argued the case for the soldiers who committed the
Oh,
Boston
yeah.
Massacre and got them acquitted, right?
Yeah.
What
Yes.
attorney?
I thought it was the Boston riot.
It's officially known as a massacre, and he got him
But
off.
I thought it was a riot.
Here's the
Hey,
problem.
when it back the blue.
When you're an attorney turned lawmaker, that's
I mean
the
the
thing.
red.
You think
Oh,
that
yeah.
it's your specialty will fix every cure in society. I'll just make another law.
Comedy.
Well, and
Fix everything.
again, when you look at so many of these laws, it's lazy legislation because
Yeah.
because rather than find an actual solution
Mhm.
that doesn't violate everyone else's rights. Remember, somebody who is committing a crime, graffiti on somebody else's property, so defacing somebody else's property,
Right.
is committing a crime. They have forsaken their rights, and rather than violate everybody else,
Yes.
you have to deal with them.
It's kind of simple, isn't it? Here,
Yes.
pretty simple.
It may be a little more, take a little more effort in practice. But when you're out, you're out hassling all the drug dealers so much, then you don't have enough wherewithal to deal with the kids.
And I'll give you a clean example, because this happened to me. I had a code inspector come and cite me for having my vehicle, my work vehicle, with my lettering,
Right.
parked in my driveway. He said that's illegal because this is a residential area and you have a commercial vehicle.
Sorry, I had to call on you. It was
And
unsafe.
I went down to City Hall. I was trying to get this,
no.
and they finally explained to me. They said we had a fella that was with the towing company, and because whenever he was on call, they would let him take his tow truck
Right,
home
because then we just get up
and,
and go.
then go. But he would get a call at 2 a.m. He'd crank up that big diesel tow truck and wake up the neighborhood. And they said, that's why they're enforcing this. I said, well, here's your problem. That was a noise problem, and you have an ordinance on the books having to do with noise and disturbing the peace. But rather than actually citing that tow truck for doing it, you're coming after me.
And they looked at you blinking and had
Yeah.
no idea what you were talking about.
Exactly.
And, I said,
Exactly.
wait a
Right.
minute. I said, my neighbor has a taxi cab parked out in front. Are you going to cite him? I said, what about the lady with the realty company who has her lettering on her car? Are you, come on.
And the entire while, they're just taking notes from David Van, like, yeah, where? Oh, who else?
Ka-ching, ka-ching, ka-ching.
No, they went after the blue-collar craftsmen.
Right.
And they did not go after the white-collar.
My question is real simple, Mr. Van. did you have a permit, and where's your white privilege card?
He had zoning violations going on because that's why the
But doesn't
inspector
white
was there.
privilege kick in?
Yeah, God.
That's
yeah,
a white
yeah.
crime if I've ever seen one.
Oh, it is horrible, you know. And what I had to do was basically start taking the ladders off every night and park the
Yeah.
van in the garage.
Yeah.
And